What's up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today with a review for The Real Housewives of Potomac Season 7 Reunion Part 2, you guys. So before we go ahead and just jump into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, do me a favor by subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, sharing the video, and with that out the way, you guys, without further ado, let's discuss The Real Housewives of Potomac Reunion Part 2, shall we? All right, you guys, so this part 2 of the reunion, we literally opened up where we left off last week. So you guys remember Candace when she was saying the comments to Gizelle about your dwindling uterus and whatnot. And I saw a lot of people online last week so upset that Candace did that because so many women go through that, which 100% yes, that is true. But Candace was not negatively talking about any other woman but Gizelle. And I don't feel anything for Gizelle because Gizelle does so much stuff on this show. She goes low. So when someone, again, we cannot dictate or tell a person how to react to something that's been done to them. Much like how people said that with Candace and Monique. Candace was using her words, Monique used her hands. We couldn't dictate that, and we can't dictate what Candace said to Gizelle. So then we talk about the fact that, you know, when it comes to this show, that the men on this show, it's not really a safe space for them to be around the women, and it's especially Gizelle, right? Because when it comes down to Gizelle, Gizelle is one of those people, Gizelle is a person that instead of her bringing whatever she's heard, like with Wendy and the Eddie rumor, she waited till the cameras were started rolling to tell it. Then the situation with Candace and Chris, she waited until the cameras were rolling to tell the situation, right? So then we want to get into the situation with Gizelle, like what happened with you and Chris to make you feel uncomfortable, right? So Andy says, was it the fact that you were in a room with the married man? She says, yes. So then they were like, well, did he do something to you to make you uncomfortable? She says, no, this feels like semantics. That's exactly what it is, Gizelle, and you're the reason you're perpetrating that semantics, right? It is 100% semantics. It's okay to say, I just did not want to go into the room with a married man. That is fine, and I wouldn't have an issue with it, right? The issue then comes into place is the fact that Gizelle is saying he made me feel uncomfortable. But you said he made you feel uncomfortable. Let's go back to what you said in that episode. You said Chris made you feel uncomfortable. Everybody asked you, when you asked him to leave the room, did he leave the room? You said, yes, he left the room. So how were you uncomfortable if you said you went into the room, your glam team wasn't there, you said, oh, this don't look right, and Chris said he would leave. What then constituted uncomfortability? What was so uncomfortable? Like, I don't understand it, and I'm like really confused. Like, what made you so uncomfortable? So she wants to say semantics, but you're the one that's playing the game of semantics, right? So then she says to Candace that Candace made the situation bigger than what it was. And it's like, no, Candace did not make the situation bigger than what it was. It's you who made this situation much bigger than what it was. Then on the side of Candace, you got Mia chiming in, telling Candace like, well, if that's your friend and she's telling you she feels uncomfortable, Mia, shut up and mind your business, right? I get what Mia was trying to say, but shut up, right? Candace did hear Gizelle when she said Chris made her feel uncomfortable, but Gizelle could never say what it was because you said Chris left the room when you told him that you didn't feel comfortable being in the room along with him. And he left, so that should have eased the uncomfortableness. Like, I think she's full of shit. So then Andy talks about the whole thing with Deborah, Ghostface, saying that Chris was hitting on her at the bar, and they showed the clip. And Ash was like, well, you know, that's not who she, you know, I've only known her to be telling me the truth. Well, obviously, so she lied. So then she says that, you know, Deborah says that the audio didn't match up with Chris's lips. And I actually will give Deborah that 1 point, right? The audio doesn't match up with Chris's mouth. Like, if you look at Chris talking, it doesn't match up. But they do have the audio of it. So obviously, so she said if you listen to what Deborah said, she said she talked to Chris, and Chris said, you know, she said her husband's name is Chris. That's exactly what she said. He said, oh, Chris is a common name. But you made it more than what it was. So I want Ashley and that girl to shut up, right? So then we talk about Candace's Instagram live. This kind of felt a little this part of the first half of the reunions kind of seemed a little disjointed because we weren't talking about things in any kind of sequential order, but we talked about Candace's Instagram live. Robin says that somebody sent her a clip. It was on the blogs. I do now honestly, I do remember seeing that Instagram live on the blogs. I do remember it. I don't remember when I saw it, but I actually did see that Instagram live, but I didn't listen to it because I'm not somebody who listens to anybody's Instagram live, right? But Andy says, but in the Instagram live, Candace said she wasn't talking about Robin or Karen, and she even had some nice things to say about your business. So Robin says, well, Candace was talking about, she was talking about these hoes ain't loyal. So she said initially she thought she was talking about Giselle and Ashley, but Giselle and Ashley don't have any businesses, right? And so Candace was like, well, Robin, if you felt that way, why didn't you just pull me to the side and say, hey, bitch, like, I know you ain't talking about me. And here's the thing, if you are friends with this person, even if you felt like you could have said, I know she ain't talking about me, but just let me fact check. Be like, Candace, what's up, girl? So I got forwarded this Instagram live video of you talking about us peddling our businesses up and down these United States of America, like were you talking about me? And Candace could have said in that particular moment, no, Robin, I wasn't talking about you. If you go back and listen to the live, I actually said I was not talking specifically about you or Karen. So, she didn't say Wendy, but that's neither here nor there, right? So then Robin, Candace was like, you tried to shame me. And Robin was like, well, we're on a reality show and we're supposed to show every part of our lives. I was like, girl, the hypocrisy in that. And the Bravo producers and the editors fast forwarded 2 weeks later to her on Watch What Happens Live talking about this situation with Juan. Like, shut up. So then they broke for lunch. And let me point out one thing. Robin, girl, you are so nasty. I know that women have their menstrual cycles, right? But you don't have to make mention that you need to go change your tampon. Girl, no. But let's pause here and move forward, you guys. So we come back from the break and we talk about Robin and Giselle's podcast that I don't listen to. They have 80 episodes and over 4 million downloads. Y'all really listen to that Sleepy Time podcast? Shout out to Misha for that one. Y'all listen to that podcast? Okay. So we then talk about Karen and her live show, right? So you guys know I love me some Karen, right? But when it comes down to Karen, let's just keep it 100% real. We know that Karen lies about a lot of things, right? So somebody brought up the fact that Karen is the one who takes all the ideas from the other ladies. So Karen says with the Wendy situation about the candles, Karen said that 4 years ago she launched her perfume line and she announced that candles will be coming next, right? So she didn't copy from Wendy. As far as the live show, she says she didn't copy from Giselle and Robin. She actually mentioned it to them in the first episode when they were out there by the cherry blossoms that she was doing it. Okay, if she says so. I don't believe Karen. I really don't, but hey, it is what it is, right? So Andy says, well, I think you could probably attribute that to the Countess and Friends. She's like, no, Andy, that's not what it was. She said her inspiration came from the Carol Burnett show. And Andy was like, I thought your inspiration came from Wendy Williams. I was like, I thought so too. But Karen's like, okay, Andy, be shady. I'm like, he wasn't being shady. He was asking a question. But again, y'all know how I feel. Y'all know I love Karen. But at the same time, let's be 100% real and honest with each other. Karen lies. So then Andy asked Karen about her Ladames. I couldn't care less, right? What I did find funny was he said, well, if there was a group called the Robins, what would they be? Me and her both said it. Boring. I said boring as fuck. No shade to you, Phil. If you're watching this review, no shade, Phil. I know you love Robin, but you gotta admit that your girl's kind of boring. And bestie, and my best friend, if you're watching too, you gotta admit Robin is boring. But yeah, let's keep moving on, right? So then a viewer thanked Giselle for being open about her story about her hysterectomy. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, when was Giselle ever open and honest about her hysterectomy? Because we didn't find out about Giselle having to have a hysterectomy until the end of the season. So is that what y'all call being open and honest? So Giselle tells us about the surgery, how it was supposed to be 3 hours, but it ended up being 8 hours because there were some complications. Her bladder was compromised. And, as much as I don't see it for Giselle, right, I'm so happy that she is alive, well, and healthy, right? I am happy about that. I know that that's I know this is an extensive surgery, right? So I'm happy that Giselle is okay. Despite the fact that I might not like her, I don't want anything bad to happen to her. Child, we even found out she had a sister, and I was like, wow, Giselle has a sister. So she got choked up at one point, and she was like, we'll talk about it later. And then it says, no, we'll talk about it now. I was like, and that is the issue when it comes to Giselle. That is the prime issue when it comes to Giselle and Robin. I feel like the producers allow Giselle and Robin to do the bare minimum and still keep their champagne flute and their paychecks, right? And it's also another issue, like we have this issue with certain Housewives shows where the women show up and give absolutely nothing to the show. Beverly Hills, right? For seasons, the Beverly Hills women, and it's actually the same with Potomac. I'm seeing a correlation. Like Beverly Hills women, for years, it was either the Yolanda story of Munchausen's, it was Vanderpump with Lucy Apple Juicy. It was the Denise storyline. Every season for Beverly Hills, the women never made their lives a focal point. They always talked about other women. And then we just recently found out about Erica's stuff. So it's just like, and it's the same with Potomac. We don't know too much about Giselle because Giselle doesn't put her life on the show. We don't know anything about Robin because Robin doesn't put her life on the show. And I have an issue with that. You ladies sign up for a reality show. That is your job, right? So you're supposed to show what's going on in your life in that particular season of your life. And they get away with just doing the bare minimum. And it's abhorrent, it's disgusting, it's repugnant, it's so many things in my personal opinion. And I want you guys to let me know what you guys think about it. But I want to pause here and move forward. So next up, we're still talking about Giselle, right? So Andy talks about the fact that when it comes to Giselle, she doesn't show her real life on the cameras. And he says, and it's kind of hypocritical because you want the other ladies to do that. And she's like, well, if they don't want to talk about it, they don't have to talk about it. And I'm like, that's bullshit, Giselle, because this season, you and Robin brought on Bob the Builder, aka Charisse, to come at Karen. Y'all all, in every scene that y'all brought Charisse around, y'all wanted Karen to address Charisse. But when it comes to you ladies, y'all don't want to address anything. So it's crap, right? So then she says she doesn't want to talk about her life. Well, she says she does talk about her life, but it's not her fault that production doesn't show it. And that's a crock of bullshit too, right? Like, I hate when people try to blame the editing. Either you don't get a good edit or either I showed them this and I showed them that, but they didn't want to put this on the show. It's crap. Like, let's call it what it is. BULLSHIT. That's exactly what it is, right? So she says she doesn't want to discuss her personal life with the women that she doesn't like. Granted, I get that. You don't want to share with the likes of a Wendy or maybe even a Candace, right? But you're supposed to be good friends with Robin. You're supposed to be semi-frenemies. You're frenemies with Karen, right? So you and Karen this season didn't have any issues with each other. You're friends with Ashley. I don't know what you are with Mia, but I know Mia is stupid. Let's just keep that a buck. Mia is stupid because Giselle in this reunion just accused you of embezzlement, but here you are defending this woman. Then in the season, she said, this is what cancer no cancer looks like. This woman is showing you plenty of times that she doesn't like or respect you, but you still go up for her. Make it make sense, right? So then we talk about Giselle and her little boyfriend, Jason. Did they prep before the reunion? I'm with Candace. Ew. Don't want to think about it, right? So then we move over to Wendy. So when we moved over to Wendy, we talked about Wendy's health. She says she's changed her diet, she's increased her water intake, and she's stress-free, right? So Andy then said to her, like watching her storyline this season with the situation with Peter, wanting to go and do businesses, he was kind of, a little nervous for her, right? And she said that, she talked to Ashley and both Candace, and that both of them actually tried to tell her not to do this. And Ash was like, but you had a good partner in Peter. Girl, a lot don't care who tell it. A good partner in Peter Thomas? Absolutely not. So then we move over to Mia throwing a drink at Wendy, and Andy said he was kind of confused why she did it because Wendy didn't say anything to her to warrant that drink toss, right? So Mia then tries to say that Wendy was saying a lot more stuff to her that was getting under her skin, but production didn't show. Now, if Wendy said more, okay, it is what it is. I don't really care, but we didn't see it, so I'm not going to say that I saw anything that that warranted that drink toss, right? So Wendy said that, Mia was doing a lot, which absolutely was. Well, no, Mia was saying Wendy did a lot, right? Wendy told her, what you did to me was fucked up, and 1000% true. What Mia did to Wendy was 100% fucked up. And I understood why when Wendy started crying, I absolutely understood where she was coming from. It's like it's not that she couldn't beat Mia's ass. It's the fact that who she is as a person wasn't going to allow her to do that, right? She's bigger than that. She's above that. Whereas that's probably what Mia is used to in this, coming from the strip club. That's probably what Mia is used to. So then Mia tries to say that Wendy had sex with Peter and she got the proof, right? Mind you, she said she had text messages to prove it. But then when brought up, she said that Wendy and Peter had a dinner with each other before the season started. Wendy said, yes, we did have dinner before the season started. So then she's saying she saw on the cameras that her and Peter were in bar one by themselves, and she saw. So girl, which one is it? Do you have the text messages and pictures, or did you see the camera footage? See, that's my issue when it comes to Mia. Mia lies so much, and she's such a dangerous person. Like a person that can lie like that, which is a habitual liar, a compulsive liar, a habitual liar, it's just an issue, right? And that's why you don't take anything seriously that a person like Mia would say, right? So then we talk about the fact that Robin recorded the situation between Mia and Wendy, and the fact that Robin was saying that Mia was being antagonized by Wendy. And Andy said, how was she antagonizing her when the drink was thrown at her? Robin couldn't do anything. She backpedaled with that, right? Because she's like, well, we can't control how people, say how people should respond. But she says, I don't know how I would have responded. And Andy said, I don't know how. I saw the umbrella. Actually, let's kick it all the way. Let's go before the umbrella. The season 1 reunion, when she got into it with Katie, when she told Katie that they were going to need security out there for her. Season 2, when Ashley and Robin and Giselle were at the kangaroo hut, and this is what having my finger in your face looks like. Season 3, Monique with the umbrella. Robin, shut up. So then Karen asked her, so why did you say to her either, fight or shut up? And, she's like, I'm glad that you said that. So I guess Robin, in this particular moment, they didn't show everything. So I'm going to give Robin a half of a point, right? I got what she was trying to say to Wendy. If you don't want to fight this woman, so she didn't redeem herself for me, but I got what she was saying. Don't fight this woman on camera. Wait till these cameras go down and beat her ass. And that's how I feel. Wait till the cameras go down to beat Mia's ass. Like, Mia was asking for it, but Robin, she was talking about she didn't want to see them fight. But as much as you were saying that Wendy was antagonizing the situation, so were you. When you put that camera in Mia's and Wendy's face, more specifically Wendy's face, you were antagonizing the situation. And then she was like, Karen was right there, and Karen didn't do anything to diffuse it. So Karen was supposed to sit there and diffuse the situation. Okay, Robin. So then they brought up the fact that Charisse did have to put her hands on Robin. Robin still can't defend that. Now, I get what Robin is saying, that Charisse didn't have to stop her from fighting Wendy or whatever, right? She didn't have to do it. but she felt that the situation was escalating. So that's why Sharice got her Bob the Builder ass up and stepped in between it. It's not her, it's not us saying that she had to, it's not saying that she had to stop you. It's saying that she had to get in between the situation. Because even Andy said, you know, there's a table right there. And if you went for Wendy, I would get up and stop it. That's all we're saying. Like, girl, shut up. So then Andy then brought up the fact that Ashley has a different stance this season when it comes to the violence as opposed to the situation with Monique and Candace. And Ashley doesn't see it that way. I 100% do see it that way. It's hypocrisy when it comes to Ashley, and it's definitely hypocrisy when it comes to Gizelle. Because Gizelle, you know, and I played the clip for you guys earlier in the season when that episode aired, that Gizelle in season 5 was like, you know, she was defending Candace, saying that Monique, you know, for 5 years they had stayed above the stereotype, right? But in 5 seconds, Monique came in and just blew it away. But then you got Mia, who threw a drink at Wendy and hit Wendy with her pocketbook, but you defended. And she says, I did that because I don't like Wendy. But it doesn't matter if you like the woman or not. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Like, it's just that simple. It's black and white. There's no in-betweens about that. Gizelle is a fucking hypocrite, and I can't stand the woman, quite honestly. So let's pause here and wrap up this part of the reunion. All right, you guys. So next up, we had a conversation about colorism on this show. So I don't really need my notes for this part. Let's just delve deep into the colorism. I've talked about it last season. I've talked about it this season. And I feel like this is going to be, for me, the last time that I feel like I'm going to mention colorism when it comes to Real Housewives of Potomac. You guys can agree or disagree that there is or isn't colorism. I say there is colorism on this show. Now, for me personally, these are my personal opinions. I don't think that any of the ladies are colorists. I think when it comes to the colorism, it comes from the viewing public, and not everybody in the viewing public, but it comes from the fandom of this show when you see the colorism, right? So I'm gonna give you guys a few examples. Now, I will say this could be perceived as some form of colorism, because if you guys go back to season 1 with Robin and Gizelle, they were trying to place Katie's kids in a box, asking her how does her kids identify. I did not like that then, and I still don't like it now, right? However Katie wants her kids to identify, that is how she chooses. That's her choosing, not yours, right? So the colorism for me with this show comes how some of the women can do certain things that other women can't. I will say when it comes to colorism, I feel that the ladies have definitely benefited from the colorism on this show. Ashley, Robin, Gizelle, Mia, and Karen, all 5 of them have benefited from colorism. Whereas Wendy, Monique, and Candace, they did not benefit from it, right? Monique was seen as aggressive in season 5. But prior to that, Robin has exhibited so many aggressive tendencies, right? Season 1 reunion with Katie, Ashley at her restaurant, and then Monique and Robin with the umbrella situation. Nobody really just called her an angry black woman. No one called her hood rat. Nobody called her gutter. Nobody did any of that stuff to Robin. But the minute Monique did it, now granted, I know Candace called her hood rat and gutter. That was how Candace felt. But Monique was vilified. And I don't agree with what Monique did in season 5. I don't agree with it then. I didn't agree with it then, and I still don't agree with it today, right? And then season 5 with Ashley and with Wendy. When Ashley and Wendy got into it, when Ashley called Wendy ferocious, that is where I got pissed off at. When she called her woman ferocious. But Robin has been very ferocious with you. When Robin got in your face, Robin was ferocious, but you never said anything about Robin being ferocious. And again, I'm not saying that the women are colorists. I'm just saying that the lighter skinned women have benefited from the colorism. They don't get called the names that Candace or Wendy or Monique would be called, right? People brush over it, people brush past it when it comes to those women. Now I know that there are people out, I know that there are people I know that there are people who do hold Robin, Giselle, and Ashley accountable for what they do. But there are far more people who don't hold them accountable than there are people who do hold them accountable for the things that they have done, right? Let's just be real about that. There are more people who have gone up for the things that Robin, Giselle, and Ashley have done, as opposed to because everybody attacks Candace. People attack Wendy, because let's be more specific when it comes to Wendy. People were attacking Wendy before season 7 even aired because the stories had got twisted around with what happened in Miami. Everybody thought it was Wendy. Everyone thought it was Wendy who attacked Mia, but then, and people just talked so negatively about Wendy before the show even aired. But then when that trailer came out and it was revealed that it was Mia who came at Wendy, it was quiet. I saw a lot of quiet. I didn't see too many people. There were people who were outraged, right? But it was far less people who were outraged, right? So yes, the light-skinned women do benefit from colorism on this show. Again, do I think that they're colorist? No. I love how Karen broke it down for the women. Karen broke it down for them. Ashley owned up, she was like, you know what, she does benefit from, colorism, right? She does benefit from it. Giselle tried to play ignorance, and I'm not gonna go into that with her. She was playing willfully ignorant. So now let's wrap up the episode, you guys. So Jacqueline joins the stage. I will say I hate Jacqueline's hair. So this is the first time that Mia and Jacqueline have saw each other since filming. They watched the clip. Mia says she's disappointed in watching the clip and that they could both do better. And Jacqueline was like, we could do better. So Andy says to Jacqueline, how, did your mom and dad watch the show? She says no. She says her family has watched the show and her family is very pissed off at Mia, right? Jacqueline also says that she felt like coming on this show that Mia wanted her to be a peasant and beneath her. Mia says that she never wanted that, right? So then Jacqueline also told us that the nanny situation, she said her sister was her nanny first, but since Mia doesn't have anybody in her corner, she offered her sister to help Mia. And I believe that. I truly do believe that. I know that there's been so much stuff between Jacqueline and Mia and Jacqueline's family on social media with the niece and all that kind of stuff and the sister. I know there's been so much stuff. I haven't kept up with it. I don't care. I know Mia and Jacqueline came prepared to air each other. I'm like, God, dog, y'all were once friends. I'm on Jacqueline's side when it comes to airing out Mia, because Mia had no problem airing you out before the show even aired about that whole domestic violence situation. But let me know what you guys thought about part 2 of the reunion in the comment section below. Next week is part 3 of the reunion, and it's a 90-minute episode. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to talk about the extended interview with Robin and Andy in next week, because that's what the extended part is. I think it's going to be another 30 minutes of the reunion because of the interview with Andy and Robin. So I don't know if I'm going to talk about it, but we'll see as we get there next Sunday. And you guys also know next Sunday, SWV and Escape, the Queens of R&B premieres, and I am going to review that. But yeah, you guys, let me know what you guys thought about the episode in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, share the video, and until the next time, you guys, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.